Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the FiveMarks Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, as always, Mr. Martin115, joined by my lovely co-host with the most.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another week.
Carmo is back, and we're 3 weeks off of having this man on. 1 year ago, I've been saying, let's let Luke Barry take over for an episode for God knows how many months, and he's finally here to kind of do it.
I'll take over someday. Someday, give me free reins. I'll go fucking nuts, and we'll get a mental show going.
It'll be the last episode of the podcast.
Everyone will be cancelled.
We didn't say it, but Luke was on. So, how are you doing today, sir?
Good. I'm after catching one of those coughs and flus that you only get when you have a child that doesn't seem to go. Came from all those little bastards she's in school with, and I'm a little bit choking. So if I start dying and collapsing and stuff, it'll just be a historic podcast. So get those views, baby.
Title is going to be Luke Barry's final interview. Sorry, Hall of Famer Luke Barry's final interview.
Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Cork Wrestling Hall of Famer.
There's 120 characters. I can't put it all in. I have to go within the limits. But yeah, a year since we've had you on. So what's changed? Anything cool in your life?
No, I'm doing less podcasts.
Yeah, I know.
I think this time last year I had maybe 4 on the go. I only have 1 at the moment and 1 kind of in the pipeline that I'm working on in the background to get ready. I'm planning to do the What's Wrong With Your podcast that I kind of launched last year. I've been talking to a buddy of mine who wants to come in and do it with me. So I think it'll be a better podcast with, as you know, it's easier to banter off an extra person and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to get that launched, hopefully in the summer with me, myself, and my buddy. I don't want to say too much about it yet. But we're going to try and launch it in the summer, hopefully.
Now, because we're talking about podcasts here, I have to ask, any update in the RCW one?
Well, what happened with that was, on show day, my role is as such that I need to be going around and talking to people about their matches, commentating and that kind of stuff. The plan was to have the recordings being done then, but there's not going to be an RCW podcast. It's a short story because what we've decided to do is we have the Wrestle Slam podcast guys there all the time, do a fantastic job interviewing people on the day. We have yourselves there on the day. The plan is to just share that content. It's the same interviews, it's the same people. Hopefully, like with Wrestle Slam, they're kind of our official media wing. Yeah. So like we're aiming to kind of collaborate a little bit more with them and allow them to do the heavy lifting, so I don't have to.
One less
allow you
podcast.
To focus more on the commentary and stuff like that.
What's that?
Allow you to focus more on the commentary and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, I need to kind of be present on the day, I guess, and be able to do my job as well as I can.
Actually, I want to talk about the commentary because we never touched on it last time. Obviously, you are the main guy that's there every show. And
the voice of Cork Wrestling, some say. I don't know who, but some people say it.
So I heard that one fan, I think he was out in the very top, the third row, I call it, in the path. And obviously now, once joined by Bedlam, now joined by Cooper Keane. How is that going for you?
It's great. I'm loving it, and getting to do it with different people is kind of teaching me more about it. Like, so we originally started with Justy.
My favorite
Justy
commentary
did the first few shows. We had an absolute laugh. I think there was no serious person there, so they kind of wanted somebody to be serious. Maybe, I don't know, but I think Justy's better served in the ring anyway. He's incredible in front of a crowd, so he's much better off in the ring. Then I got Billy Bedlam for maybe 2 shows. But Billy Bedlam on show day, similar to the issue with the podcast, he doesn't have time to do anything. In the middle of the show, Bedlam will be getting up and going solving a problem backstage or trying to fix something and leaving me there on my own. So we tried to get somebody to fill in. So we have Corper Keane coming down now, and I'm loving working with Keane. It's absolute blast because he's like a fountain of knowledge about not only wrestling, but Irish wrestling in particular. He's been around for such a long time. He knows everybody, knows all their backstories. So it's great to bounce off him. And on the last show, I had Jay Money, which was, I always have fun with Jay Money, so that was good fun too.
And Cooper Keane, he does YouTube as well, doesn't he?
His YouTube channel is phenomenal if you haven't seen it. It's so funny.
What type of content is it?
It's kind of wrestling comedy. is the best way to describe it.
Oh, it's like
So like he'll feed stuff into like an algorithm generator, create a fake wrestling card and kind of talk about that, but it's done like as a cartoon.
hmm.
It's really really good. It's definitely worth checking out. If any of you who are watching this don't watch it, check out Corp Keane's YouTube. It's so good.
So
I'll
like
leave a link down below as well in the video for it.
in the description
People
down
check it out.
below, as always. But I mean, we have a year of stuff to talk about, so let's get straight into it. Because like last time we had you on was Hooked on a Feeling, which was my first RCW show, which
Mm.
was crazy, crazy good. Still, I don't know. To me, it's still one of the best shows RCW's done.
Yeah,
The Christmas show is like right there.
I think the Christmas show was just the feeling in the room for the Christmas show was incredible.
It was like between Eric Young, who was super cool
Mhm.
to fucking get to meet. It was hilarious watching Mikey just mark over him. He's there every 2 seconds talking over to him. And they're, oh, what a fucking mark. Like what we've had the first show on the Pav. I think there was one more Kino show as well.
Yeah,
What was that called again? Back to work. I think it was called or something like that. Let's go to work.
let's go to
Uh,
work. Yeah.
so much has happened in RCW since, and I just want to ask you about like, let's start at Let's Go to Work. I think it was the final RCW match with LJ Cleary as RCW champion. To
Mhm.
get to call LJ's, well, let's please God, not his last Cork wrestling match, but his last
I
for the
hope not.
moment. What was like having LJ as your kind of representation for Cork?
Incredible, because the journey that LJ Cleary's had in Cork is fascinating, because he was booed out of every building in Cork from even the CCW days. Coming up through Phoenix himself, the More Than Hype lads, they were booed out of it all the time. Everyone's aware he's a brilliant wrestler, but they just didn't take to him. I think the Dublin guy coming in and beating the local guys, they hated it. They got booed out of the building. So to see that transition for him to be the person, I suppose, representing Cork and representing the Cork scene was absolutely incredible, and it's amazing to see. LJ Cleary, somebody I've known for a very long time. I think I've said it possibly on here before. My first ever wrestling match was his first ever wrestling match. We were against each other. We were on opposite teams of an 8-man tag. So I know him in the ring and out for a long, long time. So getting to call him as a champion, that's incredible. Getting to call him losing the championship, a little bit bittersweet maybe. But it can't be denied. The era of the Saviors has been fantastic.
It's been interesting. I think Owen has kind of when he first won it, I thought, okay,
Mhm.
where are we going here? But the vignettes with walking around Cork with the title, going up to people
Mhm.
saying I'm the savior of Cork and stuff, is fucking brilliant.
Thank you. I made that.
Oh,
Yeah, I produced that video.
actually, let's talk about that as well because most of the promos and stuff are you.
Not, I wouldn't say most. Like, so that one in particular would have been me. Quite a few of the Raven Creed ones would be maybe me. But I would have done more for Phoenix than I do for RCW in terms of videos. It's something that I want to do a lot more of. I love producing wrestling promos. I love doing anything to do with wrestling, obviously. But producing wrestling promos is my one true love. I think the art form of that and how to do that is something that I love doing. I've worked with Raven Creed quite a lot over the years. Billy Bedlam, obviously, and Butch Armstrong, obviously, when we were a tag team. But in RCW, I kind of haven't had the opportunity to do it with everybody yet, because
Mm.
before, say, in Cork Wrestling, there would have been a base camp of like a training school. There isn't in Cork at the moment, so that spot to meet and chat to people and see who wants what filmed and all that doesn't exist as much. So that's harder to, I guess, figure out logistically. But yeah, I love producing those videos. Like the Reardon O'Connor Raven Creed one, where Reardon went into the woods to look for Raven, and Raven
Was
turned
up
out to be up on
high.
top of the thing. Yeah, like I would have directed and shot that. It would have been produced by RCW and Billy Bedlam, but it would have been me shooting it, directing it, that kind of thing. So it's editing it, obviously. But yeah, I love it. That's what I. If you could give me a job, commentating, and that would be that's what I my dream job.
I'd be the same. Like, let me make
Yeah.
wrestling. Let me make wrestling promos because just getting to put together that story and be like, here's the story. and people to go, wow, that's really fucking good. It's been like really cool.
I got the opportunity to start it in CCW, in fairness, when Raven Creed and Debbie Keitel were having a feud. They started asking me, Lee from CCW would have asked me to put together video packages for the feud to kind of try and sell it and stuff like that. And I got the opportunity to piece the story together, and it started to happen that I would start to produce promos and maybe say, can you say this in your promo in the ring so that I can get it into the video package and get to put it together like that. And it was incredible to do. I found myself in a position where I was producing Doug Williams and Jordan Devlin promo, JD McDonough now. And I remember just kind of standing there going, I shouldn't be producing these people. They're much better than me.
Carl, would you throw in a question?
Yeah, I was just actually going to ask. Like we were just talking there about the last show of the Kino, and now moving into the Pav. Like, how have you found that change of kind of going into the Pav, and how do you find the Pav itself as I suppose a venue?
The Pav is a godsend of a venue, I think. Like Cork Wrestling for years relied on the Kino, and the Kino is a great intimate venue, but you couldn't grow any further in it. Like that was being sold out in the Phoenix days and being sold out in the like as the legal amount that you're allowed to have into that venue. Basically, we were getting in. Whereas the Pav at the moment, I don't think we've even touched what the capacity is. We were given a certain amount that we were allowed to have in there, and kind of for the last few shows, they've allowed maybe an extra 10 tickets be sold, an extra 20 tickets be sold, and it's still selling out, or close to selling out at the very least. And no, it is selling out, I think, for the last few. And this one looks like it's going to be a sellout as well. So we're adding people in, and you can see when you're in there, you could still fit a good chunk of people in there. So it's kind of it's the only way to grow is to go from the Kino to the Pav. I think the Kino I do miss. I love the Kino, but the atmosphere in the Pav is something else. The volume of the crowd in there, the I don't know what it is. It's just something about that place that I think it brings people alive. The chants, the cheers, the shouting, the give and take with the audience is a lot more than it was in the Kino.
Like the best thing I kind of say to, I think I said to Billy before, the Pav has this proper wrestling kind of venue feel.
Yeah.
Whereas the Kino kind of felt like, because I feel like everyone was kind of just pushed together. It was kind of this like hall type thing where you're going, get the fuck off me, you know? Whereas like you walk in the Pav, you see the lights, see the ring, you're going, wow, yeah, this looks legit. It looks proper. And then
I think the Pav is the closest thing that I've seen to when OTT had the Tivoli. That kind of vibe and that kind of look. That it looks right. It feels right for the product that we're putting it out there. And no, it's amazing. What you're saying is bang on.
And even like the fact that you can do like the face and heel kind of entrances as well is really, really cool. Especially it was hilarious the first show. Everyone kind of looking around going, where's this person coming from?
We actually did a show there years and years ago with CCW, and the dressing room was actually, do you know where the big screen is in the Pav?
Yeah.
So the dressing room was to the right of that, which is like the room I'm in now is about 4 times the size of that room. And there was about 20 people on the card. And we were all kind of squashed into a room. I remember standing there because I'm like 6'2" and big guy or whatever. And I was like, I cannot stay in this area for 3 hours. And I just looked and I was looking around and I was like, how many people are on commentary tonight? And the promoter went, one person for the first half. And I went, brilliant. So I just went out and sat in commentary for the first half of the show. Just commentated it. Went backstage at halftime. Went out for my match in the second half.
And no one was the wiser.
Nope. It was brilliant. It was some crack.
I don't know. For me, the only thing where I'm like, okay, the Pav is like awful for this, and I think it was after the first show or something, was doing like afterwards interviews. I remember me and Jerry from WrestleSlam being, we gotta find a spot. Like I remember we pulled you downstairs to where they were bringing the ring out, and every 2 seconds was someone going past, going just like even
because the Pav turns into a nightclub within half an hour. Like the turnover is amazing. Within half an hour of wrestling finishing, that's open as a nightclub. So the ring has to be bam, bam, bam out the door. Everything has to be cleaned up and ready. So unfortunately, there's no time for interviews or no space.
That's what I see that the lads do it before the show now. I think the last one I went to, we did it on the stairs, and we had a hilarious one with Bedlam, because Bedlam, I call it Elianite syndrome. For some
Yeah.
reason, for some
Yeah.
reason, after every second word, he like, yeah. So every time someone's walking past the stairs, just yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah,
Billy,
he's after getting
stop.
the habit.
Because he get the other, is like, oh, there was someone, I'm not going to say who just because, like, keeping their character and stuff, walk past, Bella goes, yeah. And the whole way step down, every step was, yeah. I'm like, lads, we got to go again. Do you want to throw a question, Carmel?
Yeah, so we kind of brought up there a few minutes ago about Eric Young.
Mhm.
How was it, I suppose, working with Eric Young, and how was it trying to like commentate on an Eric Young match?
Absolutely mind blowing, to be honest. Like I, a huge Eric Young fan, as we all are, I'd imagine. Like
Mm-hmm.
his TNA run is legendary. The stuff he did, he kind of covered all bases in that. He did the big high fly type matches. He did the comedy. He did the brawling. He did the crazy kind of character then in NXT and stuff. You have this whole career that's, as I say, legendary. This legendary journeyman wrestler coming in to us and couldn't have been nicer. I went up to him and I said, "Is there anything you want me to say in commentary?" He said, "No, you do you." And I was like, "Okay, well, look, if you want to get anything over," he was like, "Because this is," he basically was like, "This is your house. Whatever you want to say, you say." I was like, "That's cool. What a nice guy." Because some people can be a little bit precious about that, and maybe they should be. But he was so nice about it and so like trusted me to kind of get him over, I guess. But not that he needs me to get him over, but trusted me to add to what he was bringing. So it was really cool to see. And there's a really cool picture of me, Bedlam, and him just chatting before the show that Mikey Morin got a picture of, and the three of us like laughing back like that. And Bedlam sent it to me, and he was like, "How cool is this?" I'm like, "It is. It's like I never stepped away from being a wrestling fan. So seeing a picture of me chatting to someone who's had the career that Eric Young's had, it's just going, this is wild." On a like we're both working on the same show, working on the same project here. It's wild.
Even as a fan, seeing him in the ring in Cork
Mhm.
was just like, holy shit. Do you know, Eric
I
Young is
loved
in an
I loved seeing him
RCW
wrestle
ring.
Owen Richards, who I had could be maybe one of the worst comedy matches of all time against. So like
I have
when
many
we were
questions.
we were the Armstrongs, there was me and Butch against him and Steve, who they were Super Nintembros at the time. Um, do you ever see them as that Super
No.
Nintembros? It's
I don't think so.
good
No.
fun. Look it up. And we wanted to wrestle each other for like a few months, and everyone was saying the Armstrongs versus Nintembros was what needs to happen, a comedy match, blah blah. And we had about 6 months worth of ideas, and we went, let's do all of them. So the match ended up being about 40 minutes long, and it was madness. It was absolute madness. Like we did a big international spot on our knees. We ended up doing musical chairs. It's ridiculous. I think it's on YouTube somewhere, but it's getting to see that guy who I had that awful match with put on a hell of a match against Eric Young and getting to commentate it. Amazing. Couldn't be prouder of him.
And getting to do a sing song as well after the match.
Yeah, that was a bit mad. I thought the ring was going to break. Everybody came out for that sing song, and it was a Christmas one. And you could feel the center of the ring just dip in the middle, but well, it was Christmas.
Whenever are you going to get to do like Christmas songs in the ring again with Eric Young?
Exactly. That sounds like a fever dream. Imagine
Well,
going back like what, 10 years, 11 years, whatever it is, when he was in TNA, maybe longer, and saying, yeah, you're going to sing Christmas songs with that guy there in Cork in the Pav.
put on the
Um,
put on the CV.
what? What's
Sang
that?
put on the CV. Sang Christmas songs with Eric Young.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's gonna be a hell of a story to tell people. And like RCW, not only have you guys had Eric Young, I mean,
Mhm.
at, come up to the next show, you'll have had all of Subculture on
Yep.
one at a time. Bedlam, book them all at once. I'm telling you, it's gonna be
Mhm.
amazing when they're all there at once. Um,
Them
fortunately,
versus the Saviors. That's what I want to see.
oh trust,
That'd be amazing, yeah.
especially
Yeah.
we had the Anita versus Danny Luna match,
Yep.
and I felt like because of what Andy's still getting involved, that has to come
Mm.
back.
It'll
Something
be
has
so
to
good.
happen. Do you know? As well, you think about LJ beating Mandrews. After that, coming in, cashing in.
Yep.
You know,
There's the history there.
it's all rolling in. you know, Mark Haskins, who you guys had. There's been some amount of UK and other talent.
Charlie Sterling.
Oh
Yeah,
my
like
god, that triple threat
Rio
match
as
was
well. Like
amazing.
Rio is a massive talent
Rio is incredible.
on a regular basis. Like
Someone as well
Re-
who hasn't put on a bad match in RCW. Every match is leaving you with your jaw down.
Absolutely. I think Rio is probably my favorite wrestler to watch on the British scene at the moment. As you say, no bad matches. Presence, you can like when in the entrance you can feel it. The strikes you can feel. Just that's a superstar.
Who unfortunately now has gone off with Strong Style, Carmel's favourite team.
Hmm.
a little bit of a letdown, but like we'll get over it. We'll get over it.
I'm interested to see that. I have to say,
Yeah, yeah.
that makes Reardon O'Connor a very dangerous man.
Well, it
You
makes
got the big
people
powerhouse of
around him.
Chris, that
Yeah,
phenomenal
well.
talent in Rio, and then just that silky smooth Reardon O'Connor. Like
Yep. Speaking of them, Chris Connolly's who's impressed me an awful lot of the kind of up and comers in Cork and Limerick wrestling at the moment.
yeah,
Absolutely incredible. I've known him for a few years, and he's, I think, one of the best big men in the country at the moment.
he's very very good. I
Yeah.
don't want to kind of go off on a tangent, but like he had a match against Liam Slater and Hard Knocks recently, and it was phenomenal.
I heard. I
So
haven't
good.
seen it yet. I don't think that's come out yet, has it?
No,
It should be
Oh.
out sometime this week, as far as I know,
Looking
but
forward
I'm
to
not,
seeing
I'm
that.
not 100%.
it was like because with Chris, like for us, I haven't gotten to see a whole lot of him. Like a lot of the matches were kind of short, sweet, to the point. This was like him with Liam was the first time we got to see Chris wrestling.
Oh, brilliant.
Blew our fucking minds. But I want to talk about one more thing with RCW because I'm sure this was a lot of fun for you. Was CBL as the interim general manager.
I love CBL. Anything CBL does, I'm there for it. Him as the GM was fantastic. That being said, I can't wait till he's back in the ring.
Absolutely.
Especially after what happened the last show.
Yeah.
With him and Buzzard. Obviously, Leighton Buzzard since has suffered an injury, but he will be back. And there was that stare down.
There was a bit of a stare down, a bit of a kerfuffle, we'll say. I could see that being an incredible feud once Leighton Buzzard heals up.
100.
Poor Leighton Buzzard. I mean, like he came back to Cork and he was having great matches all that week, it seemed, around England and Ireland. And then to get injured in the way he did, it sucks.
Couldn't even go into the Rumble match. I remember because
Yeah.
I was watching it live. He kind of went to the back limping, and I remember getting the text like, "Oh shit, I hope he's not hurt. He's not hurt." Comes out for the Rumble, you thought, "Oh, he's grand." Oh shit, what's that person? Oh, he's fucking pulled out.
Yeah.
And as well, another rivalry you guys have, boiling up down there, which I can't wait to see blow out. Hopefully in the Rebel X division. Former champion Fabio Martin Steers. Steers has gotten himself involved in his matches, I think twice now.
Yep. I think it's a really interesting one because obviously we know they're a tag team elsewhere. So they know each other really well. So to get to see them tee off on each other and it'll be interesting to see how they mix it up in that way. Again, like versus each other rather than helping each other out. I think there could be a little bit of jealousy there from Steers trying to keep Fabio from being on top down in Cork. But yeah, I mean, is there two better?
No,
Like I think locally in Ireland, they're going to be the top guys.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
one of them's going flying into that wall in the path.
Yeah.
Poor if Tom's doing the camera again on the show whatever show they're fighting on, you might want to step back a bit more than they did for Haskins.
I got booted in the face by Haskins. Yeah.
A panic on everyone, and Tom's just there like
Tom's like a champ.
he took that thing.
Yeah. I thought his nose was broken when I was watching it. I was like, oh no.
Fucking like Bedlam was fucking running around the place like we need help.
Yeah.
We need help this guy, and he still. I think it was it Vic or someone took the camera off him, but he was just like, no, leave it.
I think Bedlam eventually got it off him, and Vic Haskins got him to the paramedic, maybe.
Whichever.
But he was fine. Like it's one of those like Tom's a trooper. Tom's one of us. Like you know what I mean. He's there for the show, and that's it. Like he's class. I love Tom. But yeah, He wasn't at the last show. It wasn't to do with an injury or anything. But he was away. So hopefully he'll be back for the next one, and hopefully he'll get kicked in the face again.
Well, we know
I
how
want
Luke
to do.
feels.
I do want to talk about the Rebel X title as well, and the Rebel X division. Like, since that's been brought in and with the title as well, it just seems to up the level of every RCW show with
Yeah.
every match that has that with every match that title has been on the show. Like,
You
it
know what
just
I
seems
say about that division, and it speaks a lot to the talent that are in the matches of it. It was the opening match for the first 2, 3 times, whatever it was, that it was defended. On the last show, it was the main event. It can go anywhere. It's just entertainment. It can be your main event. It can be your opener. It can be your middle card. It doesn't matter. It's still probably going to be the best match on the card. It's unbelievable the talent that are in there. Robbie X is not human. I don't know how he moves the way he does. Fabio obviously is the MVP of that division for me. Including Terry Thatcher in it on the last show was stroke of genius from CBL, I guess, as interim GM. And yeah, it's the next show. That match is going to be absolutely out of this world. Robbie X, Andy Steele, Martin Steers, and Mark Haskins. What a match that's going to be.
Just having even Haskins in it, we saw the speed and fuck what Haskins willing to do when he took on Richards. Now you put him in a match where speed is the main thing.
Yeah.
Again, Tom, you might want to.
The thing with yeah, exactly. The thing with Haskins, his speed leads to his power. You could hear his shots as well in the pav. It's absolutely amazing. I think the people I'm looking forward to tying up in that one are Haskins and Steers. I think Martin Steers, he doesn't get enough praise for his power either. So I think the two of them are who could have an absolute all-out brawl on that one. However, Andy Steele is in this match, and who knows what sneaky tactics he could pull in this one.
We've seen it with every other match with a savior member in it. There's always either Andy's at ringside, Andy's at ringside. Will Owen come out to help him? Like, you know.
And we saw what happened on the last show. Anita was there. There was no saviors with her, and she lost.
Is it a savior's
So-
problem?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We've Anita Vaughan hasn't been announced for the next show. I don't know is she on it, but we know Andy Steele is. We know Owen Richards is. So I don't know. Will we get some clean wins out from the saviors?
No. No, actually, before I move on to this, I have to ask you. So when we get the Ultimate Rebel X match, you're definitely going into it, yeah? You and Bedlam,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
What type of crazy top move are you
They
gonna
used
do?
to call me Middle Rope Marion. They never go past the middle rope. They're a swanton off the middle rope and everything.
Do one off the bottom rope, and I'll go, yeah, he's God.
Bottom rope Barry, perfect.
I have to ask you about the Bearded Beauties, obviously, with the relationship you have with Butch, because it seems like they're not anti-RCW, but they're not happy with the way that things are going right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they feel like they're not being spotlighted in the way that they deserve. I disagree. I think they're being spotlighted very well. Hang on one sec. Excuse me. I think they're being spotlighted very well. They're a phenomenal tag team. They're the top of the division. They've always been the top of the division since the start of RCW. But I guess they want more. And that's okay. That's brilliant. That's how champions behave. They want more. They want to be the best. They want to be the top. They want to be the main event. They keep threatening to put people through tables and then not doing it, which I think is absolutely baller behavior. It's fantastic. It shows how manly and tough they are. But no, I can't. I mean, is it disappointing? Sometimes. Do I respect it? Absolutely. The only thing that upsets me is they got rid of their really cool
I
music.
know. Like
Yeah.
people started singing along to that song. The last show I was
Great
at,
song.
and now it's just gone. I'm like, you prick. They're fully pricks now.
What I will say is they're a phenomenal tag team. Like I always say it on commentary, they're a team that were thrown together in the Fight Factory. They weren't meant to be a team. They were just put together for a show, and the chemistry they have naturally it's unheard of for teams like that. They're so good. They work so well together. Even with this attitude shift, they work even better, in my opinion. I see big things for them going forward. Do I like the attitude? No. Do I understand it? Yes.
I mean,
Do I want it? Probably. I like it. I like a bad boy.
I
But
mean,
even at the last show, like they did a really tough challenge in Greedy Souls. Like Greedy Souls are one of the best tag teams in Europe at the
They're
moment.
so good. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And and they stood to him. They beat him. And I think I don't know if you put anybody against the Bearded Beauties in the ring in Cork, I don't know who could beat them right now.
if you could do a dream match with them, who would you
As-
put them against? Any team, anywhere.
Any team, anywhere, as in dead or alive, like
Yeah, go on, whatever.
Legion of Doom, Road Warriors,
That'd be good.
the
Actually,
Road
yeah.
Warriors, and Paul Ellering versus the Bearded Beauties and me as their manager. That's the dream.
The managers are never actually at ringside. You're just kicking each other's arse the whole time,
Yeah,
taking
exactly.
away from
Perfect.
inside the ring.
No, genuinely, who's around now that I'd like to see them face? Subculture would be good.
Subculture would be very good. Yeah.
Steers and Fabio would be good.
Oh, they get squashed. And I don't mean like a squash match. I mean they would just
Actually
get
squashed. Let me think. That's a tough one.
A great one I'd love to see when he's healed, and a return of Charlie Sterling with
Mm.
Adam Maxted.
Oh, that's a great call. That's a great call.
That would be a
That'd be a good match, actually,
phenomenal and a big. The Greedy Souls was a tester match. That would be another tester.
Yeah. That would be a great match. We've seen Butch tear it up with Charlie Sterling in the past. So, yeah, seeing it in a tag situation with Butch's new attitude, I'd love to see that.
One thing I have to talk to you about, because it's my favorite thing to see at an RCW show now, is More Money, More Problems entrance.
Me too.
Just up on the fucking thing, dance along. The song is so fucking catchy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just pure. And G Money is. You can put that man in any spot on any card. He is just pure entertainment.
Absolutely. He's the kind of thing like you want to hook whatever he has into your veins.
Yeah.
Gene Money, J Money, Debbie Keitel. It's the team that shouldn't work but works perfectly. You know what I mean? It's incredible the effort they've gone to meld as a team, the gear they have together. Like Gene Money lives in a different country, but they come out, they look like a team, they act like a team, they're impressive, they're entertaining. Debbie Keitel is a branding genius anyway, we know. But what she's done with this team in such a short time is incredible. I do think actually a run with them versus the Bearded Beauties would be quite good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, actually.
J Money would get squashed, but Gene would hold in.
Mm-hmm. I think that could be an interesting one.
What's wrong with question, Carmen?
Though I want More Money, More Problems versus the Saviors as well. I think the seriousness of the Saviors against the
they piss him off.
energy of More Money, More Problems.
They piss him off so fast. Who would you reckon would crack first, Owen or Andy?
Andy.
He'd get pissed off. And then with Debbie and Anita at ringside.
Oh well, there you have the gals against each other then as well.
Yeah.
Fuck it, do a 3-way. Why not 6-man?
Yeah, that's what I mean. But you have them. They're a team elsewhere going against each other. Oh, I think we're onto something here, boys.
1 second. Let me get my book out. Where's my booking book?
Yeah. We'll send a message to Billy after the show and see what we get on. Speaking of Billy,
The
Billy
FiveMarks Championship Wrestling setting up there now next week.
Well, we didn't want to announce it.
It's not quite in Cork. It's not quite in Limerick. It's just on the border.
We're here just in Ennis and Clare, where there's fuck all people gonna go to it.
Between like Tipperary and Kerry, somewhere around there. Speaking of Billy Bedlam, he made his return / debut in RCW at the last show, where he teamed with his former partner Raven Creed, which didn't end up going well for him.
I could have told him that would happen.
To see Billy back in a Cork ring, like it must have been a pretty good moment.
It was incredible. It's no secret that me and Bedlam are really good friends. We know each other quite a long time. Like, there's people you meet in wrestling who are your wrestling friends, but I think that myself and Bedlam are more than that. It goes past just wrestling. And to see him and know what he's overcome since the day he stepped into a wrestling gym, to ever wrestle at all, like say this. I don't think he'll mind me saying this. There was a promoter previously when he was training. He'll never wrestle. He'll never wrestle ever. We'll never put him in a ring because he came to training at 35 years of age. That's the first time he started training, and he was on a show within 3 months of that same promoter booked him within 3 months of saying that, making that statement. That's what on commentary. If you listen back on the RCW YouTube channel, I say never tell Billy Bedlam that he can't do something. The absolute fact. Last year he had stomach surgery, like very, very serious surgery, where he was basically like stapled back together effectively and was told he'd never wrestle again. A year later, he's back wrestling and bouncing around the place, more agile than ever as well, on top of that. It was incredible to see. I think you can hear if you listen back to my commentary, which is up online at the moment, the full match is, the emotion in my voice. It was real. I got a message from Bedlam after it went out saying, I can tell, I know when you're being real. I know that was real. Thank you so much. And it was real. It is the house that Billy Bedlam built and we are all just living in it. I said that and it's a true fact. He kept the Cork scene afloat when lots of people left him, myself included. And he was the one who carried it on his back and kept it going. To see him come back in a ring is beautiful. It's amazing. He deserves it. Like, he should have the longest career of any of us. He deserves to do this as long as he wants because he's the one who's pulling the truck along, basically. You know what I mean?
I mean, even the entrance alone that night, thank God you recorded because I wasn't at the show. And just to hear, the crowd, see the emotion on him and just the absolute joy on his face to finally get to step into his own RCW ring, but two, to back in Cork, back wrestling was just amazing. The atmosphere, I literally watched that video and went, I wish I was there.
It's one of those things, like, and it's impossible to explain to people because, or like, wrestling's its own niche. Irish wrestling's a smaller niche again. Cork wrestling's a smaller niche again. So to explain to people outside of it that this guy gets this reaction from this 200 or so people it's almost unfathomable to people who are outside of that bubble. And that for that, whatever, 10, 15 minutes that match goes, you're a god, you're untouchable, you're doing something that you love to do. It's an incredible feeling, and to see your friends have that feeling is beautiful.
And I mean, we can't talk about Bedlam without talking about the tag partner for that night, Raven Creed, who seems to have not snapped. Well, you can say snapped since her.
She's always, I've never seen her unsnapped.
I know, that's what I mean. You can't say snapped, but you can't, like.
She's mad.
She's mad, and you cannot place a name on what she's doing because she's on this terror rage at the moment, kind of fighting demons of the past, you know? And she now has chosen Billy Bedlam as her next victim.
Which is fascinating because their history, both on screen and off screen, is completely intertwined the whole time. So, to tell you a backstory about it, I guess. Billy Bedlam got onto shows, and then Raven Creed was on shows, and they were put together as therapy. And I don't think it was ever fully meant to get over. It was just to kind of give them something to do. And then they went into this group. Bedlam was meant to be the leader, and Raven started to get more over and build a name for herself and all that kind of stuff. So this struggle started to happen in CCW between the two of them of who's the leader of therapy, on screen and off screen, if you know what I mean. Then that grew. Raven's confidence grew. Her character grew. They separated. They went their separate ways. They always kind of stayed. They're friends, but there's an animosity there from the therapy split up. I don't think it's anything that's ever been spoken about of that, which one of them should have been the leader of it, and et cetera, et cetera. So to see that come to fruition on screen is interesting for me as both of their friend. So it's going to be I can't wait for the promos for it, basically. They're going to tear each other to shreds, I'd imagine.
Road to Hell, Falls Count Anywhere. And we've seen what happens when you throw Raven Creed into any no DQ matches. Ryan O'Connor has felt what happens.
Yep.
So You have someone like
I've
Billy.
seen Billy Bedlam in some no DQ matches back in the Phoenix days as well. He's no slouch with that. He's a scary man as well.
I'd be worried. I'd be worried with him going. This is gonna be his second match back,
Uh-huh.
second match after a major surgery. Raven's definitely looking at that.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things of like, if it was his choice, would he do it? Probably not. But she chose him,
And
and he's not going to back down.
I have to get your opinion as well on what Raven's doing at the moment.
What are the seven deadly sins? Only Raven seems to know, but I mean, what I don't know what number we're at now. Is Bedlam number 5?
That's
Four or
number
five,
3,
I think,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Is he? Okay, so we've had Debbie and J Money, or Debbie and
Oh,
G Money,
Martina. So Martina, Debbie J
Martina.
Money,
Rio.
Rio, and Bedlam now.
Is that it? Bedlam. So
Bedlam,
that's
yeah.
4.
Oh, who was the last show? Oh,
Yeah,
the last
I
show
think
as well.
that's
So
it.
we'd be 5. He's number 5.
No, I think he's number 4.
Oh,
Possibly. I'll look
Raven's
into that.
confused us all.
He's either 4 or number 5, but either way, it's creeping up to number 7, and I don't know where it's going.
Well,
I'm not even sure Raven knows where it's going. In her warped mind, but I can't wait because I will watch Raven Creed wrestle anywhere. If Raven Creed wanted to wrestle a mop, I'd watch Raven Creed wrestle a mop.
Well, when she gets past match number 6, you should run.
I hope it's not. But at the same token, I mean, it would make sense. I don't think anybody has more of a history with Raven Creed than me. I've known her since her first day at training school.
That's what I mean. So, match
No,
number.
no.
What's that? Bing, bing. Fucking run.
If I see anyone coming towards me with a card, I see a guy out the window.
Sorry, I don't play poker. I'm going to just leave.
Yeah.
But-
I think someone's going to catch me. Do you know the way in American TV shows when someone's been served for court? Someone arrived to my house. I was like, "Hi, are you Luke Barry?" "Yeah, I am." "You've been served with a 7 deadly sin." "No."
Well, I knew this day would come.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you want me to go?
Just turn around into a headbutt straight away.
But you've been there for every show so far.
Mm.
And I mean, like, since we've had you on, it's been Hooked on a Feeling. Let's Go to Work. We've had the Christmas show. We've had the last show. Do you feel like it's gotten better and better and better and better each time?
Yeah, absolutely. If you see the messages that I send Bedlam after them, I was like, this has been the best one so far. This is amazing. And like, that being said, it started as something and it's something completely different now. When it started, it's called Rebel County Wrestling. It was aimed at being a regional, very regional wrestling promotion. As time went on, Billy started to get a bit more comfortable with the booking of it again, started to feel it, started to bring in more European talent, more American talent, and it grew. Once we got the PAV, obviously there's more scope for what you can do. So it is going up and up and up and up. And I think he learned from all the mistakes that we made with Phoenix when we started out. And you can see that here in how to grow it. Rather than starting up here, which we tried to do with Phoenix, he grew the whole thing up to there in the space of a year. Fair enough. But no, I think it is getting better every show. And I think it's still going, it still hasn't reached its peak, I don't think.
I'm going to make you absolutely hate this now. What's your favorite show so far? You got to pick one.
Christmas one.
Just the feel and everything, the good vibes.
Absolutely.
And Eric Young.
It was every, like, the Christmas show in the PAV was everything I wanted Cork wrestling to be. It felt like a community atmosphere. Everybody was there. There was some stars from around the world. Everybody there was there to have fun. I got to banter with the audience beforehand. It was a bit of cabaret, a bit of wrestling, a bit of comedy, a bit of everything involved. And it's what I always thought wrestling community in Cork can be. And it was the first time I saw it fully realized in front of my eyes. And it was amazing. It was incredible. Like even down to small details, like having podcasts be there and be a part of the, like, we know who they are, and Bedlam on the microphone saying the podcasts or the, like, and talking to people and that kind of stuff. It's everybody's kind of starting to know each other in the Cork wrestling scene now, in the Irish wrestling scene. But it's incredible to see. And it's the Cork wrestling scene for years was very negative. And I think it was the first show that I fully saw that negativity wiped away entirely. And it was amazing. It was incredible. And I got to commentate it, and I think it's the first show that I felt fully confident commentating as well, which makes me feel more at ease, obviously. But yeah, I loved it.
And now, even I know here, RCW has put on some absolute amazing matches. I always go back to was the triple threat of Butch, LJ, and Charlie.
Mhm.
If there, we'll go 3 matches, not best matches, but just 3 matches. People, if you were to show someone this is what RCW has to offer, what would be 3 matches you go check these 3 out?
Haskins and Richards, Reardon Raven 2,
Very good.
and let me think. That's a tough one. And I think the three-way. I think you're right with that one.
That was
LJ, Butch, and Charlie Sterling, because that had a bit of everything.
yeah, and then Charlie Sterling is just amazing.
Well, yeah, exactly. He's incredible. I think, even though I wouldn't call him underrated, but on a global scale, he probably is.
Yes.
Over here and in Britain, he isn't, but he needs to be worldwide.
He should be signed to a major company.
I think he's the most selfless performer I've ever seen. He puts everybody else over more than he'll ever put himself over in a match, and he's just so good. So he's Mr. Perfect of this generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually
Absolutely.
first person I've heard say that now. But
I think that similarity will never leave you once you see it.
He's gonna start coming out with a towel now, isn't he?
He should. Chewing gum.
Obviously, June 15th then is the next show for RCW. Say hello to my little friend. Already 3 massive matches announced. Owen Richards and Flash Morgan Webster. We said it there. The road to hell, Falls Count Anywhere with Bedlam and Raven Creed, and then we have the Rebel X Division match. Already a massive stacked card. If you could, I'll say it this way. We saw the last show with the massive X Division Fatal 4-Way match. The hilarious match, which I cannot wait to see. I've seen the clips with Sem, Justy.
That was madness.
I can't wait for that to be uploaded. How fun the last show was. It's topped every time. Do you think this one's just going to be brilliant? Because
I think so. I think Flash Morgan Webster versus Owen Richards is as good of a main event as you're going to get in Ireland. It's going to be superb. Raven and Bedlam, real blood feud, like legitimate blood feud. Rebel X match, it's going to deliver. It always does. There's so many things that are kind of what's going to happen with Strong Style, what's happening with Mr. Charlie. There's so many little storylines going at the moment that it's phenomenal. Mr. Charlie is the thing that's intriguing me an awful lot at the moment. He's not Mr. Charlie anymore. He came out as Hayden on the last show. And it was somehow more scary than when he was Mr. Charlie.
you're
It's like when someone said, it was like when Kane lost the mask. He was like, when you were wearing the mask, you could never like read his face. You didn't know what he was thinking. And then when you lost it, you could read his face. So it made it more scarier. That's kind of the same with Hayden and Mr. Charlie.
It's very strange, and I don't know what to make of it. I'm just gutted that that song that I wrote for him doesn't get played anymore.
Do you know what? You can come out to it now.
What?
You can come out to it now.
I can come out to Mr. Charlie song. I think that might be a bit weird.
It makes no sense. Mr. Charlie's name is said in a good few times, but you can come out with it now.
It says, "Hello, my name is Mr. Charlie."
Just put on the outfit, come out with the box. No one's going to know a difference.
Do you know what? Do you want to know any? This is very behind the curtain now. But when you said that, that's what made me laugh. When I did my comeback in Phoenix 2-3 years ago, whenever it was now, there was a plan at one stage that Bedlam was going to do a multiverse show in which I become Mr. Charlie. And I was going to come out with the music in the box, and there was going to be a version of the song recorded where he's singing it and I'm coming out. I think that would have been, that would have been amazing.
Who would you? Oh, I'm gonna have you fantasy book for a second. if you were to swap all three members of the Saviors with three people, who would you do?
As in, keep it as the Saviors of
Keep
Destiny,
it as
but
the
it's
Saviors, but we forget, like, we'll do the multiverse of madness.
same characters, same everything.
Same everything.
Ooh, that's a rough one. Well, there's an obvious one in LJ Cleary. No, I
Yeah.
take that back. Leighton Buzzard in the Owen Richards role.
Yeah.
Martin Steers in the Andy Steele role.
Perfect.
Katie Harvey in the Anita Vaughan role. That's my...
Bad.
That's good Saviors.
Or Debbie
That's good
Keitel.
Saviors.
Maybe Debbie Keitel.
I think
Yeah.
Katie
No,
Harvey.
Katie Harvey. I'm sticking with Katie Harvey. Katie Harvey, bad guy Katie Harvey is my favorite version of Katie Harvey, so I want that. But the first time I saw Katie Harvey wrestle, she used to come to the ring with hairspray, and she used to do this kind of like up herself kind of gimmick, and it was amazing. It was so well done. I want that to come back.
What, hairspray?
Hairspray. She used to be spraying
Just
her
get
hair.
you some hairspray.
Yeah, well. They also had a hairspray on a pole match, which I always bring up, and nobody likes. Nobody likes that I always bring it up because it was a little bit misogynistic, I think. Especially when we arrived to the venue and the pole that the promoter had for the match was actually a Hoover.
No,
he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it to be offensive, but it was literally women go over there and fight for hairspray on a Hoover. So yeah. We went out and bought an actual pole.
Who was in this match? Katie Harvey.
Katie Harvey and Sessionmot.
Ah.
They'll kill me for mentioning this, more than likely. They tried to bury this so deep.
I heard you on the FiveMarks there the other week. We have a lot to talk about. But Sessionmot's the one who on the card as well, who yet to be announced. Be Cool, the return of Steve Savage, who I think the last time we saw him was his match with Tucker. No, he won the Battle Royal.
The Sem Battle Royal.
Yeah.
And he kind of stake the claim for the championship. He wanted to go after that. He said he wants to be number one, which I assume means he's going for that. I'd love to see Steve Savage, Owen Richards in a feud in RCW. I think that would be incredible.
It still makes sense because isn't it only Cork wrestlers that can't fight him that he has in place? So it could happen, and even
that's true.
We have Rio, who if I would love to see Rio in a Rebel X match one day.
That's a great call.
Because everyone's high flying, whereas she, like, someone running at her, she just fucking bang head.
Yeah.
I think
that's a great call.
Amazing in that.
Yeah.
So, but June 15th, the PAV, RCW returns for Say Hello to My Little Friend.
Yeah.
It's going to, and as well, you can check out, and we have to talk about this now. You can come say hello to the Cork Wrestling Hall of Famer. I know we spoke to you on the night about this, but it was a complete surprise to you.
100%. I think about 10 seconds before he actually said my name, I was like, is this about me? Because I literally wasn't expecting it at all. I wish he told me, because I would have actually come up with something to say that made sense when I got out on the microphone. But I was like, okay, thanks. But no, it means the world. Like, I put everything into Cork wrestling from... I was 15 years old, I think, when I started my first trained. 36 now. So I started training for 2 years maybe then. Left for years, came back and put everything into it. From day one, I went into the CCW training school. Everything I did, from producing the promos, helping with the shows, helping with some of the booking in some parts, training people because there was no one else to train people in Cork at the time. It fell on my shoulders to train people quite a lot in Cork. I didn't want to, and I don't necessarily think I was the right person for the job, because I cannot be serious almost ever. So, but I was happy to do it because I wanted the Cork scene to develop. I'd love Cork wrestling. I love the people in Cork wrestling. All I wanted was to see it succeed. So to get that moment of somebody, I guess, giving back to me and saying, we acknowledge that you put in this hard work and ruined your life and your bank account for Cork wrestling. So it was really nice, and it was a really cool thing for Bedlam to do. The worker in me, I guess, it crossed my mind to go off script and turn heel and just cut a really horrible promo. which I think would have been amazing.
You know what? It's about time I went in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly. I was going to do a who the fuck do you think you are putting me? I am the Cork Hall of Fame. But I wouldn't do it because Bedlam's nice gesture. It wouldn't have been fair.
I have to. Watching the video they put together. Was there a tear there going, "Wow, you fuckers, you got me"?
No, I felt nothing.
Wow, yes, that definitely turned heel.
In a strange way, as in I felt nothing. Sounded wrong. I was almost frozen. I remember looking at it going, "That's mad. That's mad that someone did this." And then I started laughing to myself because they used my sacrifice, which when me and Butch were a tag team years ago, we did a promo where Butch thought I died, and we put together a video package for me after I died, and it was also to my sacrifice. So I was like, cool, that's a nice little in-joke there for anybody who wouldn't get it, but paid attention to wrestling in Cork 10 years ago. But no, it was cool. It was really, it was amazing. But I felt, I don't know how to explain what I felt because nothing is the wrong word. Obviously, that was a joke. But it was, I don't know. It was just such a cool experience to see it and to be acknowledged for it. As I said, like that side of my career is done, the wrestling side, and I've moved on from being Marion Armstrong as a wrestler to Luke Barry as a commentator and I guess wrestling personality, we'll say. So to have that part of my career acknowledged and noticed in this new company is really cool. Really fucking cool.
Being a Hall of Famer now, who would you like to see join you in
That's
that
a good question.
Hall of Fame?
Great question. But obviously Bedlam, I think that's an obvious one. Raven Creed, I don't think gets enough credit for what she's done for Cork wrestling. Trained a whole lot of people in Cork as well, or had a hand in helping train them at least. Thinking of Cork people in particular, Steve Savage is someone I think who deserves it. When CCW folded and Phoenix started up, he's somebody who was involved in that. It was me, Bedlam, and him. So Steve would be a great one for that. Obviously you've all the locals, but outside of the locals, Justy's helped a lot of people. Justy's been very good in LJ Cleary and coming down and helping train people and taking seminars and that kind of stuff. So yeah, Justy I think is a great shout for that, and LJ Cleary for outside of Cork people.
I want to say as well, whoever gave Justy a mic, I think it was when he was hosting the show.
Yeah.
And the intermission, brilliant idea. That man just didn't put that mic down.
No.
There's CBL selling his merch. CBL. There was one point he was doing jokes with a fan, and he copped on halfway through. It's like, this guy didn't have a microphone and nobody understands a word we're fucking saying. He's having a one-way conversation that no one else can understand.
I think Justy can't help himself sometimes. If you hand him a microphone, me and him are quite similar in that regard. In that, give us a microphone and we'll talk some shit for a while.
I still say to this day, favorite commentary team, you and Justy.
I love that.
Was brilliant. It was the first RCW show I watched as well on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it was just 2.5 hours of just pure laughing.
It was the two of us are trying to pop each other. That's all it was. They're trying to get each other to laugh and break and stuff. And I love that. Can we be trusted together? Probably not.
The next show will be Justy and Luke Barry Uncensored.
Oh, that'll be good. Buy the alternative comedy track on our Patreon for €1.
Remember those old ads that used to come up on the TV for like CDs and stuff?
We'll
do one for you and Justy.
That's a good idea.
Join today and you can hear the Luke Barry and Justy soundtrack. What the fuck is this cunt talking about?
There was the show where he just started shouting abuse at Anita Vaughan. That was vicious. That was wild. Like that.
He's an absolute gift to Irish
Brilliant.
wrestling.
Absolutely.
But I have to wind up now because I'm very cautious that there's a storm coming in and I don't want to lose this footage. So, Carmo, is there any questions that you want to throw in there?
You know what? I was going to ask it, and I tried to fit it in this there, but we didn't get time. You recently have swapped your wrestling shoes for some dancing shoes. I was just wondering if you could tell us about it.
The dancing was a laugh. I I was asked to do it so for the 2023 show, I was asked to do it, and I went down to train, and it was, I spoke about it before, I have like bad anxiety issues, and I went down and they like completely kicked in. This is before I had any treatment for it or anything, so I freaked out and couldn't go back. So this year I was asked to do it again, and I was after being given treatment and having the right medication and everything. I said, this will be a good test. If I can go down and do it this time. So I went down to give it a go and stuck with it, and it was an absolute laugh. We had like I think it was 20 people or 30 people or something in the groups, all doing it for charity, obviously to raise money for a local charity. And we were all judged each night. And I got to the final three. We were the only couple to get to the final three both nights. Now, I cannot dance at all. I still can't. I can bullshit and perform like nobody else does and showboat and do all that stuff. But it was a laugh. And what made it even more fun for me was on the second night, one of the judges was Rory O'Hagan from Cork's Red FM, who does loads of interviews. We've been on his show on Red FM loads of times, promoting RCW, CCW, Phoenix over the years. So he knew me. And when I was in a tag team years ago, our catchphrase was, "This is Armstrong country." And when I was he was announcing me or whatever, judging me, and he said, well, it's obvious to see tonight, this is Luke Barry country. And I was like, yes, a joke just for me that no one's gonna get.
Only one person popped.
It was brilliant, just me. I was just fucking love it. But Rory was great, and Rory is someone who is, as I say, involved in Red FM here in Cork, and is always happy to be involved in Cork wrestling. But the dancing was amazing.
Anything else you want to throw in, Carmel?
No, that's all I had in my notes.
Well,
that's all we've covered.
Luke, this is the time that we always give to our guests. If there's anything you want to say, plug, nothing terrible towards us, all positivity, or we will sue your ass. This is your time.
Well, thanks for having me on anyway, guys. But if you want to follow me at the Big LB on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X, or whatever the fuck it's called. YouTube. I do kind of comedy sketches and stuff all over all of them. Are they funny? Who knows? They entertain me. That's all that matters.
They are.
And I'm planning to do more kind of reaction videos on my YouTube and stuff, possibly to wrestling, indie wrestling, and that kind of a thing. So follow me. Follow RCW Wrestling on Instagram, on Twitter. Check out the shows on the RCW YouTube channel to hear me commentating and talking shite all over some really good matches.
Sometimes bullying Cian. I do a thing where I start rumors about Cian. Have you noticed that? I started a rumor. I at the start of the show, I think it was Cian's first show. No, it wasn't. It was the first show on the PAV. I said, and I was going to announce this man here who, for some reason, backstage earlier told me that he doesn't think that there should be women allowed on this show. And the whole crowd started booing him. I was like, but they booed him so hard that I had to actually say, I'm only joking. Did you not do one with the RCW referee as well before? Or am I just making shit up?
I normally just kind of, what do we call him? We called him Brock Refner at the last show.
Oh, God.
The Joseph and Dylan Tyrrell thing.
Yeah.
He uses two different names on his social media, so I think we got it wrong one night, and then we just decided to go with it that he's a twin. That one of the referees is Joseph Tyrrell, and one of the referees is Dylan Tyrrell, and one of them's evil and one of them's good.
It's like
just made it up.
It's like the whole Dom and Nick Mysterio thing.
Exactly, it's that kind of a thing. Yeah, it's fun.
But as you said, go follow Luke on all his socials and RCW. They'll be in the description below. Get your tickets for June 15th. RCW. Say hello to my little friend. Stack card already. Cannot wait for it. Carmel?
Yeah, Luke, thanks again for joining us. As Martin said there, June 15th, RCW in the PAV. Get your tickets. We'll hopefully see you there. Yeah, Luke, thanks a million for joining us. And hopefully see you at RCW. But for another week, we have been the FiveMarks Pro Wrestling Podcast, and we are officially ding, ding, done.